Good afternoon, I'm Sean Yao and this is One News Now. The Justice Department is aware on the whereabouts of former corrections officials Gerald Bantag and Ricardo Zulueta. In an interview with the chiefs, DOJ Secretary Boying Remulla said that they have been keeping track of the movements of the two. Yesterday, authorities tried to arrest Bantag in his residence in Caloocan, but only his household staff was present. The arrest warrants for Bantag and Zulueta are for the murder of June Villamor, who is the alleged middleman in the killing of broadcaster Percy Lapid.
We've been following his movements for the past few days, for the past few weeks actually. But I haven't spoken to those doing that. But of course, it's our job to know where the persons may be before, because that's part of the job that we do in the Department of Justice.
In other news, the Social Welfare Department said it has funds and other provisions worth 1.4 billion pesos to assist victims of tropical depression among. Social Welfare spokesperson Romel Lopez said the agency is focusing on distributing relief goods to Mimaropa and Regions 5 and 11. The DSWD is also handing out financial assistance to families affected by amang. Over 27,000 families were affected by the first tropical cyclone to hit the country.
So nga po mga financial assistance ay nakahanda na rin po dahil meron po tayong mga naitala na mga damaged houses din po, particularly sa Davao del Sur. Nagre-range po yan ng 5,000 to 10,000 pesos. Depende po din sa assessment ng ating po mga social worker o dun sa pitsala po na natamo.
And Transport Coalition Manibela supports the government's plan to provide subsidies to drivers instead of giving commuters fare discounts. The Transportation Department is planning to subsidize struggling jeepney drivers who are plying shorter and unprofitable routes. DOTR Secretary Jaime Bautista explained that the fare discount had to be shelved as only 1.2 billion pesos was set aside for it. The amount is a far cry from the 10 billion pesos allocated last year for the Libreng Sakay program. Speaking to the big story, Manibela Chairman Marvel Buena called on the DOTR to make sure that all drivers receive the promised subsidy.
Actually, wala pa kaming napiling ruta pero ang sinasabi namin, yung mga hindi profitable o hindi viable, yung hirap talaga sa biyahe na mga ruta, yun ang tulungan. Pero dapat hindi siya 50-50. For example, yung 100 na units, halimbawa doon sa isang ruta, kailangan po, kung 100 units yan, dapat yung 100 units na yan maka-avail. Kasi kung may maiiwan, sino pa ang sasakay sa kanya kung hindi siya magkakaroon ng subsidy o hindi babayaran yung kanyang discount.
Valbuena added that the measure should first be studied before implementation. He also noted that additional budget has already been requested to fund the subsidy program for drivers.
May hinihintay pa tayo na sana maaprubahan yung 2.2 billion na Ma'am Reg na subsidy pa nito. Kaya hindi ito pinatupad sa ngayon dahil pinag-uusapan pa at nire-request pa kung saang agency po ito kukuhanin.
So, posible pang tumaas ang subsidy mula sa 1.2 billion? Just to clarify more?
Yes, Ma'am Sean, kasi ang sabi natin, kulang na kulang yan at pagkakaroon lamang ng inggitan. So, sinasabi natin na sana madagdagan yon para lahat po ng nasa transport sector ay matulungan.
We're gonna pause for a quick break, but One News Now will be back with more stories after that. Stay with us. You're back on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. China has decried the joint statement issued by the Philippines and the United States against its activities in the West Philippine Sea. Brian Castillo reports.
China reacted negatively to the statements made by Philippine and United States officials against Beijing's activities in the West Philippine Sea. This comes after the recent 2+2 ministerial dialogue between the United States and the Philippines. According to Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin, China has indisputable sovereignty over the islands in the disputed waters. Wang added that maintaining peace and stability in the region hinges on trust, solidarity, and cooperation, and requires that members of this region should take security firmly in their own hands. Manila and Washington recently expressed strong objections to the unlawful maritime claims, militarization of reclaimed features, and threatening and provocative activities in the South China Sea. Meanwhile, News 5 had a chance to go around the Antonio Bautista Air Base in Puerto Princesa, Palawan, which was one of the 5 military bases included in the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement or EDCA in 2014. One of the facilities funded by the US is now being used for the Balikatan exercises by Filipino and American soldiers and other allies.
Dito po usually ginagawa yung mga planning at saka monitoring during exercises at saka mga incident responses po natin sa panahon ng mga emergencies or disaster.
Aside from this, the U.S. military also funded projects which includes putting up a fuel storage facility, an incident command facility, and a multi-purpose building. The Philippine Air Force, though, maintained that the EDCA sites are still under the jurisdiction of the Philippine government.
Rest assured mga kababayan natin na the Philippine government is in control of all these sites. We will not allow any pagbibigay, bibitaw ng ating control sa ating mga teritoryo ng Pilipinas.
Meanwhile, during the ongoing Balikatan exercises, the U.S. Army decided to teach Filipino soldiers how to use a Javelin anti-tank weapon system, which is capable of destroying tanks and armored vehicles.
We want to also bring that capability to the Philippine Army in order for us to be able to bolster our defensive posture and be able to defend our territory.
The Balikatan exercises will continue until the end of April. Then in May, the second phase of Salaknib 2023 will continue. Among the planned training activities are the command post exercise, cyber defense exercise, field training exercise, and humanitarian civic assistance. For News 5, Brian Castillo. We are One News.
Let's now take a quick look at today's other top stories. The results of the 2022 bar exams are out. Supreme Court Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguioa says that the Philippines now has 3,992 new lawyers. This year's passing rate was at 43.47 from over 9,100 examinees that took the shot at the bar in November of last year. Czar Matthew Dayday of the University of the Philippines topped the exams with a grade of 88.09%. The Health Department has detected 54 cases of the Omicron subvariant XBB 1.9.1. This is a variant classified by the World Health Organization as under monitoring. The DOH made it clear, though, that unlike the original Omicron variant, XBB 1.9.1 does not cause severe COVID infection. And taxpayers have until Monday, April 17, to file and settle their existing tax obligations. The Bureau of Internal Revenue said the deadline will not be extended given the availability of ways to file income tax returns. Taxpayers can file with any BIR office nationwide, visit the agency's tax assistance centers, or pay through BIR accredited banks. One News Now will be back at 3 p.m. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.